It's nice to meet students from other cultures and visit different countries and see how construction, although it's the same principally, it does vary from country to country, depending on the region or the weather. So from that point of view, it's good to see how things are done just a little bit differently.
I want to study to be an architect, and I think that to know the other cultures, the other ways of construction is very important for the formation of an architect, of a building surveyor also.
It's a great experience actually, going to a different country, seeing their methods of their construction. It's quite different to ours. We use limestone instead of bricks, they use wood, we use concrete. It's a good experience.
I like to see when how the other people construct in other countries, and that's very important for me because of my study and because I want to learn more. So that's also an experience and something I can, maybe if I will go someday to one of these countries, I will have that little of knowledge. So that's very interesting for me, the part of the constructions.
And it flows down, flows down, flows down, till the water is clear, and it flows back to the river. And then it's clear. We don't make drinking water here. We only clear the water to give it back to the nature. Yeah, you can drink it, but you're sitting again tomorrow on the toilet.
See where the brickwork is, so we'll get plenty of cover on that. So basically any extra cover we'll cut off, and then there'll be a massive, we've got rough cast that actually goes on this hay. So you've got a rough cast that goes, sits on top of that. We'll actually take that in there and fully cover that whole window. Construction of this here is basically truss, and there's a monoflex on it, which hopefully I can show you down at the bottom end, which will show you what a monoflex is. So it doesn't get timber sheeting on it. It's a monoflex, okay, which is a breathing membrane that allows the roof to actually breathe and also keep the water out. So it does two jobs sort of thing. And for health and safety, it can actually take the weight of you falling against it that you wouldn't fall through. So that's how the setup would be done.
The best parts of the project is actually when the students are working together in their international groups. In every project meeting we have a question that the students, at least one student from each of the different countries, join up to create an international group, and they have to go away and work through a task together and then come back and present to the rest of the group. And it's really wonderful watching them working together and how the language barriers come down and how their cultural differences, and it's been really interesting watching. And there's also a huge age gap. We've managed to have students from as young as 17 right up into their 40s and 50s, and that's worked really, really well as well, and it brings a great dynamics to the project itself.
I think this moment, this international presentation, these international groups are the most interesting things of this project, because you can have a contact with the other cultures, others ideas.
Everyone showed his sort of local knowledge, and then produced it in such a way so that it would, how do you say, it would join in, our local knowledge would be embedded so that the Scottish sort of planning and construction would be fulfilled.
It's quite interesting to see them work together and to pull things from their own countries, because of course we are completely different.
We are trying to find ways to minimize waste in the construction site. We found a good source which deals with these wastes, and we can open up to more points in order to make our presentation. We are almost finished. We still have to present the aesthetics of the presentation, but overall the information, our package, how it is ready. So we're just concluding some final touches. We had to prepare 2 guides. So basically our presentation is we're going to give some guides, points, okay, for the builder, how to minimize waste. And from the user side, the tenant, how he himself can do procedures, effective energy to reduce waste.
We're quite fortunate that the other students speak English. Some of them speak English very, very well. And other students, you have to help them. And although I don't understand Italian or Dutch, you can muddle through and understand what it is by example or a diagram. So overcoming that language barrier is quite a challenge, and it's interesting. I quite enjoy it.
It's quite an experience because everybody speaks in different kind of dialect with English. So I've a bit of trouble with the Italians. With the Scottish dialect, it's going quite good. I can follow them if they don't speak too fast.
Improving your language, English most especially, is very, very important since it is an international language. So you have to speak and listen very carefully, and I enjoy it.
Yes, I learned a lot of English because in Italy I study 3 hours a week and I don't talk very well English, and so this project helped me.
No, that's electricity, isn't it?
Yes, it's a...
See if they work.
1,230 in a day.
You work with students all year long. You have the same program, but these things are different. Every time you go somewhere, it's different. You meet your other colleagues. You talk about the things you have in common. Even they're in another country, sometimes other culture, you have the same things in common in the area of education. So, yeah, that makes it special for me.
I think it's nice to see how differently they do teach, as in some of the colleges do practical alongside academic, and I think that's a really nice way to teach someone, because they're looking at it, if they're looking at a drawing of a building, but they actually get to lay some bricks, or look at timber and how timber works against other materials, I think that's really beneficial. I don't know how practical that is to allow us to do that, because we have practical courses here, but I think it's a really good way to do things. But in other respects, you maybe have courses in Finland who are practical, who don't get to see other aspects of construction work because they concentrate on one practical aspect only. So it's quite interesting to see and hear from students how that works. And I think just learning about different technology in other countries, that's benefited me as a lecturer.
The development of soft skills, I think, is the most obvious benefit. The students learn to mix socially, they learn to do presentations, they learn to work in groups and work in teams, their communication skills develop, and their general citizenship in a lot of ways develop. They also obviously benefit from the general subject area itself, and that of sustainability. They have to go away and research their own country, and then they come and they listen to the situations and the challenges that are being presented in other countries, and they see how different challenges, although we're all being subjected to the general climate change, it's affecting different countries in different ways. And it's really interesting watching the ways in which, and looking to see the ways in which different countries are meeting these challenges.
I think the students have benefited from actually learning more about their subject. We teach sustainability, and we've taught them all the areas that they've looked at throughout the project, but they've actually had to go and more in depth and more detail and research it. So I think they've gained more knowledge and more understanding, because then they've got to try and get somebody else to understand what they're talking about.
Well, what I like the most about the projects is that it's a combination of international groups together that makes it to one big kind of a solution.
It's an experience, meeting other countries, meeting other ideas of other countries, meeting other students. It's very enjoyable.
You get to know that in different countries there are different characters, there are different thought of minds. That is very nice. I mean, even if one have the company with the other, you can share different constructions, different experiences, and even the study. I mean, we are all basically colleagues now, since we are friends, and we can share that relationship by laughs, and this whole thing is very good for that, because it gives us a strong relationship with other countries.
We're going to wear the Scottish kilts and learn to dance, Scottish dance or something. I heard something about it. At least I'm looking forward to it.
To see the interaction between the students from different countries, how they speak to each other, how they work together, how they have fun together. I think that's one of the things they're going to remember in 20 years when they look back at their education, and they're going to remember this kind of trips.